Hello, everyone. This is Jeffrey Kerr. I'm here with the December 2023 installment of the News of the Month series on the Kerr Reviews podcast, where I discuss a few different entertainment news stories that feel important and/or interesting to me. Each of the stories you'll be hearing me talk about have been divided into four separate categories. The first set of them is a Screen Actors Guild strike update. It's the last one, actually, because on November 8th this past month, SAG-AFTRA and the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers reached an agreement. Thus, the Screen Actors Guild strike is finally over. They even released a statement to its members saying, "We are thrilled and proud to tell you that today our TV Theatrical Negotiating Committee voted unanimously to approve a tentative agreement with the AMPTP as of 12:01 a.m. on November 9th. Our strike is officially suspended and all picket locations are closed." Now that the strike is over, all screen actors are back at work not only making movies and TV shows, but also promoting them. Perfect time of the year for the latter, given that movie award season is heating up with all these campaigns going on. Speaking of which, that segues into our next news story about the Golden Globes. This past month, a brand new home for the annual awards show honoring the best in movies and television was revealed. Starting this year, they'll be televised on CBS and Paramount Plus simultaneously. Although this won't be the first time the former network aired the Golden Globes, the last time was actually in 1982. Back then, CBS dropped the telecast over concerns that the members of the Hollywood Foreign Press Association had awarded a New Star of the Year prize to Pia Zadora, which became a bit of Globe's lore as it was widely believed at the time that HFPA members had been influenced to vote for her thanks to lavish trips and gifts they were provided. The HFPA never quite shook that reputation over the years, and those kinds of concerns remained up through 2021. That's when an LA Times expose over the organization's ethics and concerns over a lack of a diverse membership triggered an overhaul of the HFPA, which eventually dissolved and sold the Globes to Eldridge Industries and later a joint venture between Eldridge and Dick Clark Productions. Luckily, the Globes managed to revive itself, first with telecasts on TNT from 1989 to 1995, and then on NBC since 1996. From there, it shot to great heights and became the second most watched awards show on television, only behind the Oscars. That eventually led to a big bucks license fee with the Peacock network, worth a reported $60 million a year. Yet NBC declined to run a broadcast in 2022. This past year, they agreed to a one-year deal to air one more Globes, but after that, the awards show was back on the market. Apparently, CBS passed on picking up the Globes at first, as did Amazon Prime Video and Netflix, which is focused this year on its new deal to televise the SAG Awards. Others were believed to have offered low-ball license fees. While NBC didn't shut the door all the way on bringing the Globes back, they already had an NFL Sunday Night Football game on January 7th, the night that the Globes are set to take place. This is a landmark year for the Golden Globes as it marks the first ceremony since Dick Clark Productions and Eldridge Industries acquired the awards show's assets, rights, and properties from the now defunct Hollywood Foreign Press Association. PMC owns Dick Clark Productions in a joint venture with Eldridge. It also comes following a major overhaul of the Globes' management team and its membership body, including those who vote on the awards. And Golden Globes president Helen Hone was joined in August by former Variety editor Tim Gray, who now serves as executive vice president at the organization. Together, the two have been charged with evolving the entity and in time for this year's voting. Once again, this year's Golden Globes will air simultaneously on CBS and Paramount Plus on January 7th. Nominations will be announced on December 11th, so they're coming up. This next news story is about the Oscars. Nominations will be announced on January 23rd next month, with the ceremony taking place on March 10th. Two big updates were revealed this past month. The first being that the ceremony will be starting an hour earlier than it has the last few years. It will begin at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. Pacific Time, after a half-hour pre-show that'll start at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 3:30 p.m. Pacific Time. I'm glad that they're doing that because the most unpredictable thing about the Oscars can be how much longer they'll last than the projected 3-hour duration, especially for people like me who live on the East Coast, where by the time the telecast is over, it's pretty late at night. The second update is that Jimmy Kimmel will be back to host for the fourth time. He previously served as MC in 2017, 2018, and this past year. I've mentioned before that I think he's done a great job in the past, so I'm glad he'll be back for another round. Now, if you follow Tariq Khan's writing for Gold Derby, you should know that he's previously written some of his own Oscars opening monologues, including all of Jimmy Kimmel's previous stints as host. What I'm about to do right now is read out loud some of his jokes, where I'll do my best to keep a straight face here. I'm starting with Kimmel's second consecutive stint in 2018. When he hosted the year before, the ceremony famously ended with La La Land being crowned the Best Picture for a couple minutes before it was revealed that the winner was actually Moonlight. So some of Tariq's joke suggestions for the opening monologue included, "Good evening and welcome to the Academy Awards," or as the producers of La La Land call it, "Darkest Hour. I'm your master of ceremonies, Jimmy, or some people call me the greatest showman." I was invited back to host this year because things went oh so smoothly last year. I still have nightmares about that moment. All those celebrities, the faces filled with shock, everyone asking what the hell just happened. I never thought that I would experience that again. Then I saw the film Mother. Congratulations again to Moonlight, the 2016 Oscar winner for Best Picture. Moonlight will always be remembered for two happy endings that no one saw coming. And apologies again to La La Land for the big mix-up. It might be the most tragic conclusion to a musical since West Side Story. Rest assured, the accountant responsible for the envelope fiasco has been reassigned to the only jobs that you can give a Matt Damon lookalike, and be sure that the Academy will forget about him, Suburbicon, and downsizing. It's time to get the show started. I know that there are some extremely nervous people here, as tonight could make or break their careers, but enough about the accountants. We'll actually begin with the announcement of the final award. Please welcome back Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway. Don't worry, they're fully prepared this time. If they open the envelope and it says "Get Out," they know to immediately check with the accountants. This might be another mistake. For Kimmel's most recent stint as host, it was just the year after the previous ceremony removed a number of categories from the telecast, as well as Will Smith coming up on stage to slap Chris Rock in the face during the show. Here's some of Tariq's joke suggestions. This is the 95th Annual Academy Awards, and I'm your revolutionary leader, Jimmy Kimmel. The first time I hosted this show was 6 years ago. My, how things have changed. Back then, the worst thing you could give an Oscar presenter was the wrong envelope. In light of last year's unfortunate incident, the Academy has taken measures to prevent future disruptions during the show. First, all of this year's nominees had to sign an agreement promising to be on their best behavior, and they all complied, except for Colin Farrell. His response, and I quote, "Are you fucking serious?" But don't worry, Colin still made it in. He snuck past security disguised in such a way that not one person was able to recognize him as Penguin from the Batman movie. It's time to start handing out the awards, and good news, all 23 categories will be presented on tonight's broadcast, including the short films. That was actually at my request. I just want to hear a movie named My Year of Dicks win an Oscar on live television. In any case, I'm not only looking forward to seeing Jimmy Kimmel host the Oscars again, but I'm also curious to see what opening monologue Tariq Khan will come up with for fun this time. For our final subject, I'd like to take this moment to remember 3 industry veterans we've lost within this past month. Peter S. Fischer died on October 30th at the age of 88. He was a television writer, producer, and novelist. He was best known for co-creating with Richard Levinson and William Link the long-running Angela Lansbury-led drama series Murder, She Wrote. That show earned him Primetime Emmy nominations 3 years in a row from 1985 to 1987. In fact, Fisher was the last one of the original creators who was still alive. Levinson passed away in 1987 at age 52, while Link died in 2020 at age 87. Marty Krofft died from kidney failure on November 25th at the age of 86. He was the co-creator behind several live-action family shows of the 20th century, such as H.R. Pufnstuf, Sigmund and the Sea Monsters, and Land of the Lost, all of which were in collaboration with his brother Sid Krofft. Their fantasy programs often featured large-headed puppets, high-concept plots, and extensive use of low-budget special effects. In 2018, they both received a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Daytime Emmys. Frances Sternhagen died on November 27th at the age of 93. An actress with 27 Broadway credits to her name, she won 2 Tony Awards within 21 years. First in 1974 for The Good Doctor, then in 1995 for The Heiress. Not to mention that she also earned 3 Primetime Emmy nominations within 11 years. The first 2 were for her role as Esther Klavan on Cheers in 1991 and 1992 respectively. The third was in 2002 for a guest appearance she made on Sex and the City. My condolences go out to all of their families. So that's just about does it for the news of this month. I will be back on January 1st, 2024 to discuss any bit of entertainment news stories that I found interesting and or important from December.